Once after completing the fourth module, which is discussion of notches, weighers, mouthpiece, orifice and all of that, they are all the discharge measuring instruments. The next module would be to discuss about flow through pipes. So we are going to understand whatever the mechanics that is going to take place, whatever the measurements that are to be done in the flow of pipe. Okay, so we are going to discuss in this chapter basically on the water that is flowing in the pipe. So when water flows in the pipe, whenever it flows from one point to the other point, it has got some energy, and when it reaches to the destination or at the end point, it has lost some amount of energy, because when any body moves from one point to the other point, it loses its energy. So in flow through pipes, first we are going to discuss the same thing. We are going to discuss the losses that will take place, the energy losses that will take place when the water flows from one point to other point in a pipe. Okay, so there are two classifications. The first classification is called major loss, the second classification is called as minor loss. So in this video we are going to discuss about major losses, then I am going to solve few problems on the major loss. Okay, then we will discuss about minor loss. So first let us understand what is major loss. Major loss is a loss or the energy loss that is going to take place in higher magnitude, right? So to understand the major losses, the first thing that comes to our mind is the resistance that is offered to the flow of water. Imagine like this is the pipe. In this pipe the water is flowing in this direction, which is the upward direction, which is against the gravity. So as we know, in pipe it is possible that the water can flow against the gravity also. So usually in the channels, when we are going to discuss about channel, we will try to discuss about this, which is in the next semester. So what happens in in case of channel flow is that the water always flows in the direction of gravity, but in case of pipe the water can flow against the flow of gravity also. Like for example, gravitation force is always in the downward direction. It means what? The water can basically flow in the downward direction, but in pipe we can apply pressure, and using because of the application of the pressure, the water can flow against the gravity also. Okay, right. Now imagine when the water is flowing in this direction, there is a resistance that is offered. The resistance that is offered by the circumference or the inner face of the pipe. Okay, when the water is flowing in this direction, this inner face, the circumference or the perimeter for this cross section is going to apply the resistance. So this resistance is called as frictional resistance. Okay, so the frictional resistance that is offered by the inner side of the pipe is what your major loss is. Now you try to imagine if this is a very rough surface. Whenever you try to rub it around a very hard surface or very rough surface, so what you see is the frictional resistance to it. So if you are applying or if you are rubbing on a very smooth surface, and you will not feel the greater amount of frictional resistance. So the same thing is applied to the water also. When water moves on a very rough surface, it interacts, or it gets intimidated with the frictional resistance. Now if the water is flowing on a smooth surface, what happens is that there is a less frictional resistance that is offered. So the major loss that is taking place is basically because of the frictional resistance that is offered on the plane which it is on the material which it is flowing. Okay, now imagine a concrete surface and a PVC surface. So if it's a PVC pipe, the water flows very smoothly, or the resistance that is offered by the pipe material is very less. If the water is flowing in a concrete pipe, what happens is the resistance offered is more. Because of that, the frictional resistance will be more. Now what happens here, when the water flows from this point to this point, because of the application of frictional resistance, there is the energy gets reduced. So the energy that it had at the first point will be less, will be greater compared to the energy that it has at the destination point or at the end point. So here the energy will be less, and here the energy will be more, and this energy gets reduced because of the frictional resistance. Now this is what the major loss in case of pipe. There are several other minor losses. We will be discussing about the minor losses later. Okay, I'll just give you the description of what could be the minor losses. When the water enters from a tank to a pipe, it's called as entry. So when a water enters from the tank to the pipe, there is a loss which is called as losses due to entry. When the water comes out from the pipe to a tank, or when it is discharged freely, there is a loss that is going to take place, which is called as exit loss. Now there are different types of transactions that will take place. You can provide a bend, you can provide an elbow, you can provide different types of elbows and bends. So whenever the water passes by the bend, or whenever it passes by the elbow, there is a loss of energy that is going to take place. And if there is an obstruction that is kept in the direction of the flow, again there will be a loss that will take place. And if there is an expansion of the pipe, or if there is an expansion of cross-sectional area of the pipe, there will be a loss of energy. And then there is a reduction of the pipe, again there is a loss of energy. So these are all called as minor losses. So we'll be discussing about the minor losses later. First let us focus on the major loss. So I just want to determine how much is the energy that is lost because of the frictional resistance, which is called as head loss due to friction. Okay, so your major loss is nothing but your head loss due to friction. So to determine the head loss due to friction, what I am doing is that I am deriving an equation. So Dacey-Weibach equation it is called as. So these are the scientists who has given you the equation to derive or to find out how much is the energy that is lost due to friction in the pipe. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll consider a pipe, and this is a pipe. In this direction the water is flowing, and the area is remaining uniform. If the area remains uniform, I am taking the two sections. This is my starting section or the initial section, section 1,1. This is the end section or the last section, which is section 2,2. So at these 2 points, if I find the area is remaining same and the area remains uniform. So A1 is equals to A2 equal to A, and assume that the discharge is remaining constant. If the discharge is remaining constant, as we know the continuity equation, we will try to apply the continuity equation here. So discharge, which is A1 V1 equal to A2 V2. So as we know A1 is equals to A2, so your discharge is also constant, so henceforth V1 will be equal to V2. I hope you remember the Bernoulli's equation, which was solved by the sir. The Bernoulli's equation was like this: P by W plus of V square by 2G plus of Z is equals to constant. So if I have to find out what is the total energy at any point, what I should do is to find out how much is the pressure head, then I have to calculate how much is the velocity head, which is V square by 2G, and I have to calculate the elevation head or datum head at that point. So if I take the sum of these three, it will give me the total energy at any given point, which will be constant. That is what the Bernoulli's equation says, but in practical it is not true. Bernoulli's equation is solved for an ideal condition where the energy at every section is going to remain same, but in reality or in practical condition, what happens is this energy is not going to remain same, right? So that's why what I'll do is I'll apply the Bernoulli's equation at section 1,1 and I'll apply this Bernoulli's equation at section 2,2. So this will be my equation for that. Okay, now according to this condition, what will happen? Let me assume this is section 1. At section 1 the pressure is P1, so the pressure head will be P1 by W, velocity head will be V1 square by 2G, and as we know datum head is equals to Z1. Now similarly, if we go to the second section, here the pressure head is P2 by W and velocity head is V2 square by 2G and Z is Z2, right? So if this holds true, if this condition holds true, then there would be no H1 in this equation, which means what? The total energy at section 1 will be equal to total energy at section 2, but we need to consider here the practical condition. So that's why I am adding one more term here called as HL. HL is representing head loss. Okay, so the total energy at section 1 will be equals to total energy at section 2 plus of head loss here. So what is this head loss? This head loss is nothing but your head loss due to friction. Now this equation is a practical equation and which is suitable to this condition. Okay, the next step what I'll do is that we already know that A1 is equals to A2, discharge is constant, henceforth V1 is equals to V2. If V1 is equal to V2, V1 square by 2G is equal to V2 square by 2G, henceforth these two will get cancelled. Now I was assuming it to be like this, an inclined pipe when the water is flowing in the upward direction. For your imagination, you try to convert this into a horizontal pipe. Okay, if this is in a horizontal axis where Z1 is equals to Z2, okay, For your understanding, I had drawn this for the consideration of your derivation. What I'll do is I'll make it as horizontal. If I make it as completely horizontal, the z1 will be equal to z2. Okay, consider z1 is equals to z2, so z1 and z2 will also get cancelled. So what is left over is p1 by w is equals to p2 by w plus of hl. So what is hl? hl is the head loss due to friction. So head loss due to friction will be equals to p1 minus p2 by w. What is p1? P1 is the pressure at section 1, P2 is the pressure at section 2. If I had to find out how much is the head loss due to friction, it will be P1 minus P2 divided by W. So this is what I got. Okay. So once you solved for HL, the next step is to find out how much is the frictional resistance that is offered. So to calculate the frictional resistance, this is the equation. So here F dash is the frictional factor multiplied by the area multiplied by V raised to N. V is the velocity. As we know, V1 and V2 both are same. So V raised to N. So let me consider whatever V1 and V2 is V itself. Now let us find out what is this area. Now this is your pipe. This is your pipe where the frictional resistance is offered. The frictional resistance is offered along the perimeter, right? So I need to calculate what is the total area of the frictional resistance applied. So pi into d is representing the area. Okay, so pi into d is representing you the perimeter length. If the perimeter length is multiplied by the length of the pipe, it will give you the area which is offering you the frictional resistance, right? So F dash into P into L into V raised to N is giving you the frictional resistance that is offered per unit area. Okay, now after calculating the frictional resistance, next what we'll do is let us apply that summation of horizontal force equal to 0. So there are three horizontal forces that are happening, right? So one, there is pressure force. Pressure force is calculated by pressure multiplied by area. So we know that what is the unit of pressure. Pressure unit is Newton per meter square multiplied by meter square will give you Newton. So Newton is representing the force. So the pressure force at section 1 is P1 into A1. Similarly at section 2 is P2 into A2. But there is one more force that is acting. That force is your frictional resistance, right, which we already calculated. So if I had to take the summation of all the horizontal force equal to 0, here there is the pressure force which is acting in this direction. Let me take that as positive, and I'll take these forces which are frictional resistance and your pressure force at section 2 as negative. So I'll send it to that side. So P1 A1 will be equal to P2 A2 plus of frictional resistance, or I can bring this P2 A to this side. It will become P1 minus P2 into A will be equals to frictional resistance, which is this equation. Okay, so let me try to divide both the side by W. What is your small w? What is small w is representing? Unit weight of water, right? So I have divided unit weight of water on both the side. It will become P1 minus P2 by W, and this side is divided by F1 by W, P by A into L divided by V square. A is brought to the right hand side. Okay, so let us try to determine what is R. R is called as hydraulic mean radius. Okay, so here R is the ratio of wetted area by wetted perimeter, right? So let us try to find out what is area and what is perimeter. So this is your pipe. Pipe is a circular pipe. So if this is a circular pipe, let us consider this as diameter d. So the area will be pi by 4 into d square, and perimeter will be pi by d. So if I try to cancel it out, I will get to know how much is hydraulic mean radius, which is d by 4. Okay, so instead of P by A or A by P, I can substitute D by 4. Okay, so A by P is called as R. So substituting that, I'll get to know it is D by 4, or here it is going to the numerator. This 4 is going to the numerator, so it will become D by 4, right. So next step is this is an equation, another equation where 4 times of F dash into W, 4 times of F dash into F dash divided by W is nothing but your F by 2G. Okay, this is friction factor, this is friction coefficient, right? So the F dash is representing friction factor, F is representing friction coefficient, which is F divided by 2G. Okay, so 4 F dash divided by W is replaced by F divided by 2G. L is there. L is representing the length of the pipe. V is representing the mean velocity in the pipe. B is representing the diameter of the pipe. So if we know how much is the friction coefficient basically depends on the type of material used in the pipe. Okay, if it is concrete pipe, the frictional resistance is there. Similarly for PVC pipe or any other types of pipe, earthen pipe or any other pipe, the frictional coefficient varies, right? So frictional coefficient being the parameter of material being used for the pipe, L being the length of the pipe, V being the velocity, which is the flow property, D being the diameter of the pipe, and G, which you already know, which is acceleration due to gravity. So if we know all these values, we can calculate how much is the head loss that is going to take place due to friction. Okay, so this is how we determine the head loss due to friction. Okay, thank you.